welcome back, and hopefully you're noticing the super quality now. I've just spent a heap of money on a Osmo Action 4 camera. That means nothing to you, hopefully. Well, it just should mean that the quality of the sound, the quality of the picture is better. I've moved a couple of lights around. Hopefully we're heading in the right direction. Okay, since last time, I put some more steel work on it. I haven't bothered recording how to do the top bit, this top rail here, because it's done exactly the same as the bottom rail, which was frankly quite a long video really, considering we were repeating the same thing on each corner. But nevertheless, I don't know what your skill level is, so we'll do it once and then we won't go over it again, because you can always go back if you're thinking, how did he make that? I made it exactly the same as I made that. With this, here is the cutout at the end to allow Doggo, Debbie's dog, to get in and out. Fairly easy. I should put a door on the end. Everyone's going, oh, well, I say everyone. On Facebook, there's a few people going, you need to put a door. I know, I've got a dog. Okay, so yeah, thanks for all the advice. We'll put a door on it. But seriously, actually do keep sending your comments. Sorry, that's really flippant of me, but no. Do appreciate your comments on my Facebook page, on Mitchell Motorcycles, or here directly below. Okay, what I'm going to show you how to do today, well, first off anyway, is you'll hear it rattling, and if I'll just, excuse me a second while I get a tape measure, I'm pretty sure that these aren't, that the bottom rail and the top rail aren't perfectly parallel. Now that's okay, and that happens when you weld steel. It twists and turns and all that sort of stuff. It isn't a problem because we're going to put 2 bars at the front. So I'll put bars at the back first, and then we're going to have 2 at the front. Now, purely for aesthetics, I'm going to have the 2 front bars follow the angle. You see, we've got a little bit of fluting. I think that's what it might be called. For strength in the side there. So I'm just going to have that follow that angle rather than put it directly up at 90 degrees or perpendicular to that. I'm going to put it at an angle so it matches the tub. Now, I don't think that these are parallel, and I wasn't overly fussed. I tried to do it my best to get them parallel. But if they're not, I'm going to show you how to correct it anyway, and it doesn't matter if yours aren't parallel either. So we're looking bottom of there to bottom of there is 270 millimeters. Bottom of there to bottom of there is 256. It's a long way out, but it's metal, it bends. Now what I'm going to do is, so this is at 256, that is a full 14 millimeters out. So that means that should look like it's got a real dip just there, there and there. This should look a lot lower than that, but like I say, it's metal, it bends. We've got all sorts of ways that we can bend it. So we've got ratchet straps and jacks and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think we're going to need any of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find out which side, actually, let's check that one now. I'm assuming that the one that's 27 is correct. Yeah, okay, so at that end it's 27, that end it's 27, okay. So, these 2 rails on this side here are perfectly parallel. Great. Fabulous. Okay, so what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to cut my first front upright. The front of the camera's just gone off. That's okay. It's just new to me. I'm just looking. I've got a phone over there that it links up to so I can see my viewfinder from the front. That's okay. So I think we're still recording. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that front bar like that. And I'm going to cut both these front bars the same length. This one here will just fit in comfortably. No problem at all. And this one here will need an ounce of force, but that's okay. You can see that's more than happy to move 14 millimeters. And if it's not, we'll try a bit more force, but I actually don't think it's going to be a problem. So that's 270. Just going to check this end here. And this, I think this is all normal. Yeah, that's 270 that end, down to 256. Okay, so we've got a 14 millimeter drop from there to there. I'm just going to cut a longer length there and push it up. So that's the next job. Just before I cut this, not just for variety, I will show you that whilst that sliding bevel there also shows the angle that this fluting is back, you'll also see that the tub tapers in. I'll show you what I mean. That there is also at an angle. So I won't just do a 90-degree cut on one face and then a bevel on the other. It will have to be a beveled cut on both sides, but I'm not going to get overly precious about it because weld is a great filler. So, you know, oh, there's my finger in the way. Sorry about that. I'll try and avoid that. Okay, right. Always lose the lid off your pen. Do keep the lid on. As soon as you lose your pen and it all dries out, you've got to either stop and get another one, or right, it's just a pain. Okay, so super simply, there it is. Oops, there it is. And that fits there perfectly. Now it's the other side that's short. So what I'm going to do, well, sorry, it's the rail on the other side that dips down. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut another one of these exactly the same length, and it will force the other rail to be exactly the same height because that'll be the same length. And I know that's not much of an angle, but I think that's quite a nice little touch anyway. Oh yeah, now top tip. So I want to cut another one of these exactly the same. Don't worry about dimensions. Don't even measure it. If you want to cut two things so that they're exactly the same length, use the first one as your template for your second one. Hope that makes sense. There's no possibility of measuring it incorrectly or anything like that. If I use one on top of the other and mark them up so that they're exactly the same, then that's exactly what they'll be. Okay, I said before, I am not about to film welding on my brand new camera. Not on any camera really that I haven't been told will specifically handle welding flash. So all I've done is I've just tacked this one in here. And I'm going to turn it over and force the other upright in and tack that in, and then we'll measure it up, and hopefully that will well, show you how you can correct any imperfections in lining up. And hopefully you can see why I did that at a little bit of an angle. I just can't see why you wouldn't. All right. Now, I put the box in, and this will hopefully show you now why I told you not to worry about it being 14mm out. There we go. These two uprights, oh, just got my finger there, are exactly the same length, so I don't need to tell you that these two bars, there and there, are now perfectly parallel, and doesn't hurt to check. Well, that looks good. That does look good. I'm pleased with that. Now I'm going to remove the box. When I've got the plastic box in it, obviously I can only tack it because it's plastic, and this gets very hot, as you'd expect for metal being welded. Oh, any old measure will do for this. Just check that these are right. 7.7. Perfect. And 8.3. Also perfect. Everything seems to ring these days. I don't know if it's my ears, but every time I put a spanner down, it's like those old-fashioned movies, you know, when the guy pulls his sword out and it just goes zing. You hear that? Ridiculous. Right, going to switch the camera off again, tack that, one last check, then I'll tack it all up. Then I'm going to put a cross brace in across the bottom, and this is what I'm calling the cradle, and the cradle will be finished in today's episode. After the cradle, I'll do the suspension, because that will dictate the height of the whole thing. And then after I've done the suspension that dictates the height, we will fasten it on to the bike, which is obviously at a fixed height anyway, so we can't adjust that. So we will just fasten this on at whatever height it sits next to the bike. Okay, so I've fully welded that now. I'll show you. Now before I do, or as I do, it's so easy once you've done some welding to go, oh, let me have a look. That's going to be roasting hot for ages and ages. This isn't. But it's if I have to say there's one thing that I do more often than not, well, that I'm aware of, is touching something still really hot. Okay, I'm happy with them. If you're a welder and you want to criticise them, I don't care. They're plenty strong enough, and I will finish them off with a little flat wheel. Another note on safety. I've got a lovely breeze outside, and I do open the garage door because this steel is galvanised and gives off horrible fumes. So I do just open the garage door just in case anyone's going, oh, it's got no ventilation. I have. It's not blowing a gale in here, but it's ventilated enough, and I'm aware that it should be ventilated, which is why I've done it. Now, I can't try the box in that because it's going to be too hot. I'm going to measure up for the straps that are going to go underneath the box. I'm not putting a full floor in because the box has already got one, and it's fairly strong. Obviously it's plastic, but it's strong enough for the purpose that we're using it. I'm going to put 2 steel straps just across underneath, and then that will be it for the cage. Oh, a quick word about future productions. This morning I have ordered some 8" by 3" alloy wheels, and they are going to be wheels for a trailer, a camper trailer. I don't know why I'm struggling for words at the moment. And normally I'll point this at the bikes while I talk. I am going to make a very compact camper trailer with 8-inch rims, and it will have a swag on top of it, which will be which is a kind of small, mainly Australian style tent. It's that black bag there. That's a really nice 2-person. Oh, and it's the one on the right, by the way, with the 2 aluminium poles. So that is going to be the top of the camper, and I'm going to make a like I say, a trailer to go beneath that. It's going to be super lightweight. That's a Z900, which I've got to do the engine on, which has already had plenty done to it anyway, but that needs rebuilding. You've seen that sidecar that we're reproducing. That ST1100 there is my towing donkey. You can just, there we go. Can you see the tow bar on the back of it? So that's what I use for towing my current camper trailer, and I won't bother showing you my current camper trailer because it's outside, and I've got a video of it anyway. So if you have a look through my videos, you'll see this huge camper trailer. It's just, frankly, it's too big. It's too big for what I want anyway. I actually want one that can be towed behind either a postie bike or something small. This is a VFR 750 RC36, and I'm hoping to turn this into an RC30 replica. I won't go into great detail on that now because, well, it just might not interest you, but this is it's a nice touring bike. This is a fairly tired example, but that doesn't matter because all the bodywork's going to come off and it'll be refurbished, and it will look like one of the world's best race bikes ever made, I think. So that's one of the projects that's coming up. Don't know what I'm going to do with the Vespa. Really don't know. That's needs a couple of bits and bobs to get that going. I've ridden it round. It's done a couple of photo shoots, but nothing particular. I don't know what I might do with that. I always fancied the idea of putting some air suspension on it so I could drop it really, really low. I mean, like slam it. So it's kind of like any Volkswagen Beetle enthusiasts who've seen the Volkswagen Beetles that are slammed. I kind of fancy the idea of a slammed Vespa. My little Yamaha 1975 Yamaha RS125 is already built, so there's not a heck of a lot to show you on that. But that is basically, this is just a commuter. This is a 2-stroke commuter touring bike that is made to look like a early 70s Yamaha race bike, loosely based on the Yamaha TA125, except that the TA125 is a twin and that's a single. But nevertheless, it's supposed to look like it hammered around the tracks in the 1970s, and but is road legal. So you can see the headlight there. You can see some oh, my phone's bonging at me. You can see some indicators on it there. So yeah, so that's road legal. So okay, so that's that. Right, I'll get on with putting those straps across, and then yeah, so tune back in at later dates, or subscribe if you don't mind, or you'd like to see how I build a nice camper trailer, and feel free to poach any ideas that you want. Ask me any questions. I don't want paying for it. It's all good. I will work for likes. I've mentioned a soft pad a couple of times, so I'm going to show you what one is. It's a flap wheel that goes on your angle grinder. Always keep the guard on your angle grinder. And if you're watching a video on YouTube of someone that doesn't have guard on their angle grinder, turn it off. They're an idiot. I don't care what they build. If they don't care about their fingers enough, I mean, you hold an angle grinder like this. It is that close to your fingers. I don't care what hot rod, what genius is building. If he's so stupid that he's going to let his fingers get that close to the blade without a guard on, he's not worth watching. Really, I can't stress that enough. Anyone without a guard on, nah, muppet. Anyway, that said, I've got this out because I am putting this strap across there and there to hold the box in, and I did have a weld that was sticking up a little bit there, so I've just ground that down so that I can put that like that. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, and we don't want to get obsessed with health and safety, but you don't get many opportunities to get things wrong if you want to continue doing them for a long time. Look after yourself. Okay, let's put the phone down. So that's where they're going to go. And I'm going to weld them on. Now just before I do, I've just had a call from Roger. Hi Roger. It's a chap I don't know particularly well, but he was asking me about cam chain on an NBC 110, which is something that I did last week. I didn't video it because, as I did say, as I just said to you earlier on today, I've only just got this action camera. I didn't think to video me doing the cam chain. I've got two NBC 110s, so I certainly can do a video of the cam chain. And good on Roger for taking the initiative to just ring me up and say, hey, why don't you do a video of the 110 cam chain? Great idea. Thanks for that, Roger. Similarly, if anyone's got any other ideas of things that they'd like me to do or explain, stick it in the comments below, or if you go onto the Mitchell Motorcycles Facebook page, I'm an approachable chap. If I can do it and it doesn't involve me buying a complete brand new bike to show you, yeah, I'll happily do it. Yeah, it's that simple. Right, I'm going to turn the camera off again. That's how this is going to look. I'm going to weld them on. Then that will be the cradle done. Suspension next. The last shot of this is going to be this welded up, and then we're done for this episode. How cool is this? I've got remote control for my camera right here in the hand on the phone. I don't know quite what it looked like if I showed you the phone, but goodbye. Okay. So there's the straps. Ooh, warm, but I don't think too warm. I'm going to put the box in and show you. Not really a revelation, not a huge episode today, but hopefully you can see how to correct your own, if you've made any mistakes. Not that it's a huge mistake. Let's say if yours needs pushing about a bit. Hopefully you've seen how I've done that, and the other element of the design. So we can go in there now. I think I can't test it. Well, I can test it. Well, oh, here we go. Bear with me 2 seconds. I will test it. Okay. I'm going to pop this up on blocks. I use my wife's yoga blocks for loads. If you've got a wife who did yoga for a bit and then grew tired of it, and she's got some of these blocks, they're great. Still a bit warm. So anyway, anyone who thinks that the plastic box isn't strong enough, or that those two little straps aren't strong enough, boink. It is. Okay, until next time, that's all.